Hello Libra, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight video for the cycle that begins with the new moon in Leo on the 11th of August and completes with the new moon in Virgo on the 9th of September. This lunar cycle is what I have been calling the great unwinding. It's a time, a period of integration after the long, intense and quite catalytic energies of this summer eclipse season, as one by one the planets begin to station direct and we begin to see the results of all the work, all the internal shifting, and perhaps those shifts have been happening in the outer world for you. There's been lots of shocking and transformational events that have been going on for us all, but we will either way begin to see some rewards for all of the intensity that we've been dealing with. So for you Libra, the new moon energies along with Mercury retrograde at this time have been taking place in your 11th house. This is the Aquarian house, the house that deals with our big vision, our individual purpose, and how that connects in with the purpose that we have to serve humanity as a whole. And it can rule over also our friendship groups and circles, and the friendships we have with individual souls as well. So perhaps there have been some miscommunications, some misunderstandings in your friendship circles. Perhaps there have been friendships that you've had to disconnect from, friendships that have changed form during this period for you Libra. It's really a time of clearing away things and people that don't align with your authentic vision, which of course is unique to you. And although it's lovely to have a soul tribe around us, we also have an individual purpose that only we can fulfill. So perhaps you've been thinking about breaking out and doing something alone, or perhaps you've been having to rework your creative projects, the visions, the way that you serve. Perhaps what you do is having to be realigned with your heart, so it really comes from that space of joy and connection and wanting to give, rather than thinking, oh, this is what I should be doing, or this is what other people want me to do, or I must support that person with their vision, because we know Libra, you like everyone to be happy. So there are some shifts that are going on around there as well, and perhaps there's also some thoughts around, how can I do my service work and still be abundant? How can I manifest the prosperity I need to keep living in alignment with my vision? So these are all issues that may have been rising up, and after the new moon and after Mercury stations direct here, you can begin to see some of the results of the shifting that you've been doing. So your purpose will start to open up and expand again. Your relationships will become smoother, or perhaps you'll draw to you new connections. Perhaps you've completely rewired your creative offerings. And I also wanted to say that this is the house of the web, of the internet as well. So if you're working online, if you're doing creative offerings like writing or some kind of artwork, or groups that you work with online, then that may have been a source of frustration over the past couple of weeks, which can now begin to smooth out again too. Particularly after the 19th, things will start to move forward for you. And we know that the day that Mercury stations can often be quite a challenging day, but as he begins to pick up speed, you'll definitely start to see some results. And what's really beautiful is that on the day that Mercury stations, we also have a gorgeous healing trine forming between Jupiter in Scorpio in your second house, who's been boosting your resources, hopefully, since he stationed direct last month, and Neptune in Pisces, who is in your sixth house of daily work and service work. So if you've been working hard to align yourself with service, if you've been making some changes into how you create money, if you've just been having an inner knowing that you deserve more, you know, that what you're offering the world is worth something, you know, that creative expression of self is invaluable because nobody else can express yourself in the way that you do. And maybe you're coming to recognize that and think, yeah, you know, I deserve adequate financial compensation for what I am sharing, what I'm doing here, for the work that I'm doing, for the service that I'm doing. So, you know, really we can start to see some much more expansive, much more opportunistic energy coming in to your work and purpose, in particular, Libra. So on the 23rd, the sun will leave your 11th house, which is quite a sociable place for it to be, and it will enter your 12th house. And the sun always transits the 12th house the month before our birthday, the month before it moves into our own sign. And this is because the 12th house is the house of karmic cleansing. It's the house of washing away, the house of Pisces, the house of letting go. So this is the time when we start to let go of the psychic baggage of the last year, the last cycle, in preparation for rebirth when the sun enters our own sign. So during this period, we can feel more sensitive. We can feel the need to go within, to reconnect with our spiritual self, our spiritual practices. It can be a bit of a dreamy, floaty, less productive time for us. Oh, my cat's just come to join us, Libra, with some cat medicine. See her tail there. This is Lilith. Come on, you. And it's a time of clearing, of letting go of the old to make way for the new opportunities that will be coming in as the sun moves into your sign. So as the sun enters Virgo, it also comes into a grand earth trine with Taurus, with Uranus in Taurus in your 8th house, with Saturn in Capricorn in your 4th house. So this is a beautiful, flowing, soothing, grounding energy, Libra, that comes in through the houses of emotional healing. So if there's some issues that you've been needing to heal, you know, if there's been some emotional upset, if there's been some upheaval, if you're feeling unstable, unsettled, if there's been lots of deep emotional stuff surfacing for you, this can be a time of reintegration and recalibration, and you'll start to see the healing work you've been doing manifesting. So if you've been working to heal an old emotional wound, then this is the time where you might start to see, oh wow, look how far I've come. I've been working on that all summer, and now I'm not carrying that feeling of guilt or shame or unworthiness or whatever it is that's been lingering around. And when we shift our patterns, you know, we create space for something new to enter. So this can be a time where that happens for you. On the 26th of August, Libra, we have a beautiful Pisces full moon, and this is going to fall in your 6th house of service again. So we see that energy of service manifesting through this reading for you. And Pisces is also the sign that rules over addictions. And Virgo, the 6th house, is all about purification. So if you've been, you know, working with these emotional issues, and maybe you've been trying to bury them through toxic or addictive behavior patterns, you know, this full moon can really illuminate that and ask you to make a change, to show you where you need to let go of. Perhaps there's still a bit of emotional residue that needs to be washed away. And you, Libra, are similar to Pisces in a way. You are both signs that like to see the good in people, see the potential in people, and sometimes you view people and the world through rose-tinted glasses. And Virgo is the sign of discernment, of analysing, a sign of boundaries. So if you've been doing your service work and you've been overextending yourself, overgiving, or if you've been spiritually bypassing and trying to ignore the stuff that's been upsetting you in the world, then this can be a time where this comes up for release as well. But in general, Pisces is a beautiful healing energy, so it's not traumatic like the shifts that we've been going through currently, but more of a gentle cleansing rain that will, you know, call your attention to certain things that might have escaped your notice. So Mars is going to station direct on the 27th of August. Hooray, hooray, hooray. We'll be breathing a sigh of relief. And he's going to station direct in your 4th house, because although he spent most of his retrograde journey in Aquarius, he will be sliding back into Capricorn for about 3 weeks from the 12th of August onwards, so just after the Leo eclipse. And he will be going over some old ground there in your 4th house. He will be, you know, bringing up issues that you may have been working with throughout mid-May this year. And, you know, this can be a time when you may have felt the need to work through some family karma, some family issues. It may be a time when you are realizing just how much you need to nurture yourself, to give yourself the care and support that you give to other people. It can indicate, you know, disputes with family members on a more practical level. So as Mars stations here, we can see an amplification of that. You know, that might come up into your awareness a little bit more, Libra. And he will head back into Aquarius and back into your 5th house, where he was doing most of his journey this summer, on the 10th of September. And you can begin to integrate all of the work that you've been doing to claim your individual expression of self. Again, we see this Leo Aquarius energy that we were working with at the beginning of this lunar cycle with the Leo New Moon and Mercury retrograde. You know, Libra, because you can be a sign that merges with the other. You can be a little bit chameleon-like, where you can shift and change to fit in with other people and do a little bit of people pleasing. But this energy has been calling you to liberate yourself, to own yourself as a unique individual, to and it may have also been, again, connected with creative projects. If you felt stuck, if you felt lacking inspiration, if you felt frustrated with how you're going to express yourself in the world, it can now begin to start to shift, and you might find yourself being now filled with inspiration, filled with energy and enthusiasm and motivation to put out into the world your creations. Again, it's that, okay, the reward, we've been working hard, now some blessings are coming in these areas. On the 9th, we've jumped ahead of myself. On the 6th of August, Saturn will also station direct in your 4th house. So it's, again, you know, this energy of home, of family, of sacred inner and outer space. And Saturn's been here since winter solstice last year, since the 21st of December. And he is really working you over in this house, Libra. He's asking you to go back through the past, to clear away all of the old stuff, you know, all of the old hurts and pains of childhood, healing the inner child, healing the mother wound, healing the ancestral lineage. Lots and lots of stuff coming up perhaps around family for you during this period. And he, you know, may have also brought extra responsibilities in the areas of family for you during this time. But every situation that he is triggering is asking you to follow the thread of healing back and see, you know, where is this feeling coming from? Why am I so upset by this? And begin to heal it. On a more practical, tangible level, Saturn moving through the 4th house can create issues with physical locations. So Perhaps there's some energy there of you wanting to move home, wanting to relocate, wanting to renovate your physical abode in some way. You know, some people, when this happens, they even leave the country. They go and live in a completely foreign land. So if you've been, you know, feeling stuck and frustrated in these areas, on the inner level or on the outer level, then this is the time that it can begin to change for you, Libra. And I also want to say, you know, Pluto's here as well, and they're moving through Capricorn, which is one of the signs that naturally challenges Libra. It creates a square. So if you are a Libra that's born around the equinox, you know, in the first few days of Libra season, or if you have Libra planets or angles around the 19, 20, 21 degrees of Libra, you are receiving a challenging square from Saturn with the early degrees and from Pluto with the mid degrees. So extra intensity for you. You know, it could feel a little bit like a dark night of the soul, or, you know, if it's Saturn, feeling like you're very overburdened, you know, lethargic, apathetic, feeling like everything's very heavy and frustrating, perhaps dealing with issues with authority and governments and patriarchal energies. So it's worth checking that out and just seeing if you're going through a particularly hard time at the moment. That could be the root cause of it. So I just wanted to share that with you, just for any Libras that do feel like they're struggling right now. We're going to close the lunar cycle with the new moon in Virgo on the 6th of September, on the 9th of September, sorry. And this again is taking place in your 12th house. So again, we're looking at these issues of service and sacrifice. We're looking at clearing karma, clearing addictions, looking at the root causes of why you might be reaching for that cigarette, that sugary food, overspending, being on the internet too much. You know, what are the feelings that you're trying to avoid? What do you not want to face up to in your life that's creating this? And this is the time to let it go with the sun and the moon in your 12th house. This can also be a time when you feel deeply connected to your intuition, Libra, as well. So pay attention to the signs, the messages, the dreams, the visions that are coming to you at this time, because you can be open to receiving higher guidance as well. So I'm going to pick a card for you to close the reading. Normally I pick this at the beginning, but I forgot. So we're going to do this while I'm speaking to you. And these are from the Mythic Oracle. And they are by Carissa Malado, and the art is by Michelle Lee Phelan. And they are based on ancient Greek archetypes, which of course are closely intertwined with astrology. Let's pick a card for you, Libra. What other message does the cosmos have for you for this lunar cycle? Yeah, very interesting. So, the card that I have picked for you, Libra, Selene, the moon queen, the lunar queen, the moon goddess, intuition. So this tells me that particularly around the full moon, the 26th of August, you will receive some important insights, some important clearing. And you need to trust your gut instincts. You need to trust the intuitions that are coming up for you. If there's a situation in your life or a person that you've been unsure of, Libra, trust what your gut feeling is telling you. Trust what your intuition is telling you, because like I said before, you are the sign that wants to see the goodness in everybody. But sometimes we need to be a little bit more discerning. So trust what your inner voice is saying, and just be aware that your psychic sensitivity is extra potent this month. So you'll be picking up on messages, and also you might be feeling a little bit more empathic than usual. You might be absorbing emotions and toxins from other people a little bit more easily than usual too. So just be aware of that and be sure to take good care of your energy fields during this time. You know, perhaps carry some black tourmaline, sea salt baths, just be aware of what is yours and what is other people's. So thank you so much for listening to me, Libra. I hope that this has been a informative and beneficial reading for you. If you would like to connect with me further, you can check the links below this video, or you can reach out to me if you would like a personal reading. I am sending you so much love for this lunar cycle of harvest and integration.